Hello and welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Gibbon podcast. Wow, where's the summer gone? It is now the end of July and I cannot believe how fast the months are flying by. We've been busy working on the pheasant pen last weekend. I think the English Game Fair's been and gone. Looking at social media, it seemed that everybody had a good time. Not sure it was quite as busy maybe as last year, but it's happened. The Scottish Game Fair's been and gone. It's just been absolutely manic. I recorded this podcast that we're about to listen to with Magnus back at the end of May. That's almost 2 months ago. I have no idea how fast time has flown by and everything we've done in between. What I do know is obviously now the nights are already drawing in. A couple of weeks back, just before, that was June, you were able to be out until sort of gone 11 o'clock at night stalking. And I was out this weekend and it's already getting sort of to that 10:30ish. You need to be thinking about coming home. So we're on the downturn towards winter. I know, as I was just saying, we've been sorting out our pheasant pens and getting everything ready. All our feeders are over there. I had a message to say that my birds will be turning up sort of mid to end of August. That really does bring it home. Got a busy season coming up as well down on the hill. Lots of guests coming for stags, so stags, hinds, you name it. Got a lot of shooting. There's a lot of change within the deer industry within Scotland at the moment. Pressure on wanting higher numbers taken to reduce the deer population and density on the estates and surrounding estates. So this year could be very interesting. So I would stay tuned and we'll keep you up to date. Still taking roebucks here, there and everywhere. And there's certainly some nice bucks about. We've cleared off a lot of the smaller stuff. I was just looking back at the trophies we've cleaned up for clients, guests, and I've been out taking a few for myself as well. But it's that time thing. It just seems to be flying. Had a busy couple of weeks putting in a new larder. We've built all of that, getting ready for that winter season. But just time is going by. Harvest has almost started as well. Remarkably, it's incredibly early for Scotland. It's almost 2 weeks ahead of where it normally is. So we'll be able to get onto those stubble parks much sooner than we have last year. Obviously, with winter approaching, I'm going to draw your attention that we do have our hats and hoodies available still to purchase. If you are interested in any of that merch, let us know. Our final couple of t-shirt designs have now been done, so watch this space. There will definitely be some t-shirts. I know the summer's come and gone, but we've got those autumn months when you might want to get a t-shirt on still because it's still warm during the day. So there'll be a full range of merch. Obviously, don't forget the mugs and stickers. I don't really have a website up and running yet, so we'll keep posting on social media sites. And if you do want something, either DM me or drop me an email and we'll get something sorted out to you. So today's guest is Magnus, and he is a wildlife photographer who lives in the very north of Sweden, right on the edge of the Arctic Circle. If you don't follow him on social media, go and have a look. His photos are absolutely stunning. The guy sits out for hours on the tundra to get mind-blowing images. I met him through the Pulsar Pro Staff group, and he brings a completely different spin to what we all do with our thermal devices. He uses it kind of for hunting, but hunting to take a picture. So I'm not going to waffle on any longer. Let's just get on and have a listen to my chat with Magnus. The Outdoor Gibbon podcast is proudly sponsored by the Shooting and Hunting Academy, an online training platform and UK registered learning provider that provides a host of accredited and nationally available courses and masterclasses delivered by leading industry experts. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Gibbon podcast. Today I am joined by Magnus. Now he is a wildlife photographer up in pretty much the Arctic Circle north of Sweden. How you doing, Magnus?
Hello, thank you for letting me in here. I'm fine and it feels really good to be here. I mean, we have planned this for such a long time, but I have been quite busy during the high season here, and finally we find a day and time where we can maybe could make it.
Absolutely. It's always fantastic to watch your social media feed and everything you've had. And I think you've made the most of the snow. I think you've been up in the high ground just getting the last few bits of snow and photos you could, haven't you, recently?
Yes, yeah, I actually came home from there only 2 days ago. And
Fantastic.
I mean, there is 4 seasons every year, but when you're living around the Arctic Circle, we used to say that you have 6 or 8 seasons because, for example, you have winter, you have spring, and then you have summer. But we also have different kind of winters, and now is that part of the time, part of the year when you have. It's more or less start to be summer down in the lowland, like in the forest. All the snow is gone and the sun is heating so much, so it's like summer feeling. But only driving 1 hour with the car, so you put yourself on a higher altitude, then it's still winter there. So you can drive in snowmobile, you can skiing. So you have like 2 seasons at the same time, and that's only during a short, very intense time frame. So you really want to get everything out from it. You really want to enjoy the last part of winter when you can.
I was going to say it has looked absolutely fantastic. I know that over here in Scotland we've had the weirdest weather because it's been so hot and dry for almost 2 months, and yet today I look out the window and it's just tipping it down with rain, which I think most of the UK is experiencing. So to still see photos of you enjoying the snow, I'm very jealous. So let's sort of dive back in. Obviously, how did you get into your? I talk to a lot of people and hunters and things like that, and you're kind of a hunter, but a different type of hunter. You hunt with a camera to take a photo that you can then share with everybody. Whereas obviously a lot of the chats I've had, it's a hunter that's out to harvest meat, but they take a picture of what they've harvested. Whereas your sort of harvest is a beautiful photograph that you can share with the world. How did you get started in photography?
It's actually a quite long story, but if I try to make it short, it's I have running my own business in the mining industry before.
Right.
We were making welding works, and we were making some service and maintain work in the mines. And what happened for me was that everything went actually really well. I got a lot of work, and I also, of course, put my whole like heart and soul into it. So of course, then it's also going well, and it sounds like that everything going well cannot be a bad thing, and it is not, of course, a bad thing there and then. But when it's going well, you can easily work 12, 14, 16 hours a day because it's not a pressure on you. It's just fun. It's you wake up in the morning with a smile on your face and you're working and everything going well. But when you have done that in 11 years, 12 years, and then you start to think that, wow, I have working like 12, 14 hours a day in 12 years. I have actually like throw away my whole life for doing this.
Yeah.
Then you get a little bit different kind of, how to say, perspective on it, because I start to feel that I'm not growing as a person anymore. Now I do this only because this is what I should do and what I used to do, and this is giving me an income. And if you start to thinking in that way, what kind of income is big enough for make it worth to put your whole like life away, and then you start to realize that no, it is not worth it.
No.
So
yeah, exactly.
So the thing was that everything went so well, so I managed to put like a little bit too much hour into it because it was only fun and it's going well. And then one day I realized that I maybe want to scale down a little bit. We was around 20 employers. I maybe want to scale down a little bit, try to get a little bit like free time back, a little bit my life back again.
Yep.
And during those years, I have never been into photography. I I have been interested in photography my whole life, but more in a documentary, like photography way. I have
Yes.
always
Okay.
been in beautiful places, and I have feel that it's lovely to have some kind of camera video for show to the planet Earth where you have been.
Yeah.
But I haven't been more interesting than that. But when I try to scale down the company, I try to take some steps back. Then I will also, at the same time, sadly running into a small problem. I have a subcontractor that they make a huge mistake, like a safety mistake in the mine.
Okay.
So I didn't do anything wrong. My company didn't do anything wrong, but we have hired another company for make a small part of the work. So this responsibility is still on me.
Yep.
So when that accident happened, I get the fine, and then I was sadly also not able to do work to the mine for the coming 6 months.
Right.
So then it was like a really, really sad thing. But now when I'm looking back on it, that was maybe the thing that helped me to scale down and take a step back because I was forced to do it.
Yes, it's the force of hand, isn't it, that maybe helped you. It was the change of fate that actually was the thing you needed to be able to change.
And that thing was coming exactly at the same time when I have started to plan by myself to do something like that. So it was maybe some kind of help from somewhere. And after that, everything ends well, and we were 3-4 employers left, and I start to get my life back again. And then I also took my first time off from work for 11-12 years something. So I start to be a lot out in the nature. I start to take a lot of photos. Now when I'm looking back on it, I can clearly see that it was maybe some kind of rehab for coming back to life again. And when I spend that much time out in the nature taking photos, I also open my Instagram account and start to publish a lot of photos from the area around here.
Yep.
And this was in the end of the summer, beginning of the autumn. And I start to get a lot of questions from people, not only from here and from Sweden, also from abroad, like, wow, where is this place? How can we go here? Can you send one GPS location? Where is nearest airport? You know, a lot of questions coming. And I get, of course, glad about that. So I did everything I could for answer those questions. And then I just start to think that maybe I can do some business out of this. Maybe I can start to offer like guided photo tours or something. So in end August, beginning September something, I decided, I will give it a try and see what I can do. So totally changed to do something else. So it started in that way that I was searching on Facebook for different kind of Facebook groups. Right. I mean, there is groups for everything. There is groups for people that only want to photograph eyes, only want to photograph white animals. There is million kind of groups.
Wow. Okay.
And I did such a big work finding those groups and posting pictures. So before the first snow was coming in November, the whole winter was fully booked.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And then, of course, I was maybe a little bit, I maybe have the price a little bit too low because it was just in the start and so on. But that was when everything started, and that winter was fully booked. And now I have do this for 6 years, and it's still always fully booked.
I was going to say, but we'll put a link to your Instagram feed. But if anybody hasn't seen it or wants to see some absolutely. The photos are stunning, and you do little videos now and stuff like that. It's the area you live is like that winter wonderland paradise. You look at it, and it's just, even during the summer, the photos, the lake, and everything else. It's absolutely stunning up there. It's a different world. And then you really sort of rub the oil in the wounds is when you put up the pictures of the Northern Lights, and it's it's stunning.
Yeah. And what makes this area quite unique is that, I mean, our neighbors Norway, Finland, for example, they also have amazing landscape. It's really beautiful places, but they have also do quite much promotion. They have working quite hard for for get people coming to those places. But here, because of, or thanks to, I don't know how to say, but we have the big iron ore mines.
Okay.
So the government or the people that living here or the city have never been in any need of bringing tourism here.
Right.
So we have huge area. I mean, we have national parks that when you put them together, the area is bigger than Belgium. And I mean, we know about them, but if you're checking worldwide, if you're checking in Europe, no one know about them because there is no commercial made about them. So if you are a photographer, those areas is really unique because everyone's searching for something that haven't been taken yet. You want to have picture of something that you can feel that, okay, the whole planet Earth haven't been here already and take this kind of pictures.
100%, and I think that comes across so well whenever you've started a YouTube channel talking about things like hides and stuff like that, and chasing the elusive fox that was causing you bother every time you left the hide. The fox would appear on the camera, but it's as you say, it's things like that. It's sort of the place that not everybody's been to. It's that untouched nature, and you offer that sort of special package that allows people to actually to come there and experience your lifestyle in some ways.
Yeah, and then to be honest, I mean, the word wildlife is a little bit misleading nowadays because there is not like real untouched wild or not wildlife, wilderness.
Yeah.
There is no like real wilderness left on planet Earth. I mean, there is civilization everywhere, but at least this is those areas here is as close as you can come to real wilderness.
I was going to say it from looking in from an outside view, looking in on what you do. It's not like you can see cities, houses, or things like that. It when you've got a snow machine up on the sort of the open plain of nothingness, there doesn't seem to be anybody around you and things like that.
No.
It really does give you that feeling of you are remote and you're in the middle of nowhere.
And that's that's what the most of the guests are so impressed about, that we can with a snowmobile, for example, we can driving in hours. We can go 80-100 kilometer and you don't see tracks from another human being there. You are like in the middle of nowhere. There is so huge areas where there is no there is actually nothing.
And that's fantastic, and that just puts you to that bit. It's that little bit of exposure, I suppose, and then all of a sudden you see something and you manage to capture it on camera, and I think that probably just blow most people's minds, because the beauty of it is it's that you probably get the same dopamine release that the hunter would get seeing the animal coming across, as it's the same for you, because at the end of the day, your tool is the camera. The camera lens is doing exactly what it is, except there's no bang at the end of it, luckily, and your animal can be taken again tomorrow. Fantastic. Now that leads me on to the next bit, because obviously we met because of Pulsar, and I think you're one of the first non-hunters to have been brought into the sort of the pro staff team, and it was really interesting to hear your perspective and to see it from a different angle. How has sort of that technology helped you with what you do now?
It have helped a lot, really a lot, because I have a lot in common with a hunter, because the whole time frame until from you start go out in the forest until you find the animal, that is like more or less the same as you do when you're out hunting.
Yes.
But the difference is that I need to be next to the animal for quite a long time, because I want to have good photos of them.
Yeah.
So when I find the animal, I push the button and I get the picture. Then I cannot go home after that. I need to get one more, because if you're coming home with thousands of pictures and you're going to choose one, that one going to be better, and than if you're coming home with 10 pictures, of course.
Of course.
So
yes.
There is where the Pulsar thermo devices have helped me so much, because I can go out and searching for the animals a little bit earlier. I can start to go out when I don't have the light good enough for taking picture. It's quite dark still. So
Yes,
then I can find the animal without going too close to them, so I scare them away. And after I have find them, I can put myself in a good position. So I find a good composition. I find everything I want to have in the frame. And I can also approach the animal from a more in a more controlled way. So when the sun is start to rising, or a little bit some half an hour, 1 hour before that, when it start to be enough light for taking photos, then I'm already in a good position and I can start to take photos immediately.
Yeah, you're not having to use a pair of binoculars to kind of try and find something and always have that approach with daylight. But yeah, as you say, you now have the power of moving in the darkness. And I think some of the footage you've put up and the distances, because of the temperature and the climate, you can see things probably a lot further than most of us, because you get such a good thermal differential.
Yeah, and I can see also, I think I can see it more clear also than most people can, because of the difference in temperature.
Yeah.
No, and then I mostly also use the thermal devices in daylight.
Yes.
And that is something that many people, if they are not into thermal, they haven't used them, they have a little bit hard to understand why and what's the benefit of that. But the thing is that if you are up in the high mountain area where everything is white, you don't have not even one single tree. In some areas you don't even see a rock. Everything is just white.
Yes.
And if you then have a super strong sun, you cannot be without sunglasses, for example. You get so much pain in your eyes because it's so bright. And if you then take one pair of or like a traditional binocular and try to scouting, for example, for rock ptarmigans, a white bird in this white snow when everything is white, it's a question about maybe 10-15 minutes. You can looking in the binoculars, then you're going to be too tired in your eyes.
Yes, of course.
And it's also hard to find those white birds on the white snow because it's so bright and you have no contrast. But with the thermals, you can look in for hours if you want. You don't get tired in the eyes, and you have also so much more easy to find the birds. Because for me, one typical scenario is that I'm moving around with skis or with a snowmobile, and I see one bird maybe sitting on a stone, because when they are on the snow, they are more hard to see. But if they're sitting on the stone, you can easily see them.
Yes.
So I see a bird and I say, oh, wow, I will try to go closer and get a good photo here. But when I approach the bird, there's going to be some other birds that I haven't seen, and because they're sitting in the snow. And when I come in close to them, they fly away, and then all the birds are flying away, and then I don't get any photos. So I have to make a new try. And now when I moving around and I see a bird, then I take the thermal binocular and see that, okay, it's 12 birds. One is sitting there and 2 is there on the snow. So it helped me to get a better overall view of the situation. So I don't going to go too close to some bird without knowing it, so they fly away. I will have more easy to get close to them in a controlled way, so I actually get the good photo before they are flying away.
You kind of get the tactical advantage, a massive tactical advantage, because you can see in a spectrum that hopefully they've got. Nature is any wild animal potentially has better eyesight than the human being. We developed other skills and other things, whereas obviously you're trying to approach to an animal whose whole life is to survive. They're designed to see predators coming from a long way away. So absolutely, the thermal gives you that edge that allows you to get in and get your photos. Is that The Outdoor Gibbon podcast is proudly sponsored by the Shooting and Hunting Academy. Through the Academy, shooters, hunters, and those involved in the use of firearms can gain an in-depth and unique level of training that enables them to shoot better, behave more effectively in the field, up their strike rates, as well as learning new skills. Crucially, those new to deer stalking, the Academy also offers the Proficient Deer Stalker Certificate Level 1, the PDS-1, a deer management certificate that is nationally recognised and accredited both by LANTRA and UK Rural Skills. Visit the Shooting and Hunting Academy to find out more. Let's get back to the show. Do you think this is becoming, because of obviously you're doing a lot with it, do you think this is going to become one of those things that a lot more people that are into the sort of the outdoor world, the wildlife photography, will start to move over to using a thermal device to allow them to achieve better photography?
I'm really sure about that. The only thing is that most of the people, like photographers, they don't know what they're missing because they don't know what they can get. They don't know all the benefits with it. But when they're going to find out the benefits, I think a lot of people want to start using thermos. I mean, there is things also that it's so hard to explain to people that haven't tried it. But for example, when you are in environments when everything is covered with snow and everything is cold, if there is a group of moose, for example, 2 or 3 moose standing somewhere in the area, if I'm looking on them with the thermo, if they have just came to the area and they have the last like couple of 100 meters when they're walking there, they have also poop.
Yeah.
Then you can see that okay, they're coming from the left, because you see that there is poop laying in the snow from the left. So then you know in what way they are most likely going to move when they start to moving again.
Fantastic.
So then you can also looking on the landscape. Okay, it's quite likely that they go into the right. What do I have to the right? Okay, there I have this mountain. I can line up this mountain with this tree or whatever. So then you can put yourself in a position, and then you're sitting there and wait. And okay, now they start to move. And then when they're coming where you want to have them in the frame, you take a picture, and everything is like so controlled.
Yeah, it's kind of giving you the advantage to actually allow you to almost set the shots up before and just hoping that the animal is going to do what you want it to do. Almost walk through the trap for you, isn't it? It's like setting a camera trap up, but you actually are there to experience it rather than just leaving one of those trail cams out that gives you not the best quality of photo, but tells you there was something there.
Yeah, and in January, February, also beginning March. In January, we don't have the sun here. The sun is never going over the horizon. It's always below the horizon.
Right.
But when the sun is start to coming back, like the whole February, beginning of March, it's really bright, but the sun is not strong enough for heat up the ground.
Okay.
So then I can use the thermo for scanning the whole side of a mountain slope, for example. Because most of the mountains are covered with snow, but it can be, for example, 600 stones on the whole mountainside. And if one of those stones is not a stone, it's an animal, then we will see it so clearly with the thermo device. Because the stones are also cold, because the sun is not strong enough for heat up the stones in January, February, March.
Yeah.
So with a traditional binocular, you really need to focus and really need to like exactly know what you're looking for. But with the thermo, you can scanning the whole mountainside, and you see immediately if there is an animal laying next to a stone.
No, I agree with you there, because it's one of the biggest problems we have is you're out and you've got the thermal and you're looking on a hillside or something like that, and you've just raised a very good topic there. It's the sun's been shining most of the day on a load of rocks, and all of a sudden you look and it's like, oh, there's a herd of 600 animals, but it's not. It's a herd of 600 rocks, so they're all glowing very hot. So having that advantage of being able to scan the hillside where you've not got the heating everything up, and then the beauty of it is anybody that hasn't ever looked through a thermal, obviously, what you're looking at glows basically. If it's in white hot, for example, it glows as a great white object on your screen, so you can then hone in and work on going over to whatever that object is.
Yeah, And also if animals are hiding behind branches, for example, and it can be also in the middle of the day when you have strong sun, so everything that is in the shadow get quite black because it gets so much contrast for your eyes. So also with a traditional binocular, it's impossible to find them. But with the thermo, even if they are behind the branches, there is always some leaking in the branches where you're going to see that, okay, you don't maybe see what kind of animal, but you see that there is something there behind the branches.
That's it, because Pulsar have now launched their Pulsar Wildlife sort of part of the company, haven't they? Which is coming out soon, and I think you're one of sort of the key pro staff for that. So this is obviously trying to get to say that thermal just doesn't have an advantage to. Well, thermal originally came from sort of the safety aspect and the world of heavy industry, looking at high temperature leaks. Then it moved into the hunting world, and now it's kind of taken that full swing where it's actually now going out to the wildlife enthusiast. And how do you think that's going to change the way that people see the world? It's obviously it's a whole new skill to take a thermal device and go out. But do you think it's going to unlock? It's going to unlock the say for a bird watcher that's down on an open plain. Do you think they'll be able to they'll start to have the ability to see more and be able to understand more about the nature that's going on around them, I suppose?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I also hope that. I mean, thermo give you the benefit of making everything around the animal with a bit more of respect for the animal, and in a way that you don't disturb the animal and so on. But it can also be sadly the opposite because you have easier to find the animals.
Yes.
So I hope there that people also going to use it with respect. But I think so. I think because for photographers, the last thing you want to do is to disturb the animal or scare the animal, because then you don't get any photos. They're running away.
Yeah.
So as long as you're using thermos in the way that you can put yourself in more control situations, so you can approach the animal without scare them, then it's also a better thing for the animal.
100%. I agree with you, and it's like everything. I think whatever world you go into, there's always people that will misuse it. But if it's a benefit to more people that actually opens up the environment and allows them to see things, then it can hopefully it means there'll be less disturbance to nature, because you can step back and you don't have to go trudging across somewhere and disturb 5 things to just get the photo of the one thing you wanted. So what let's just talk about, obviously we've covered a bit on thermal there and how it's been helping you. Let's talk about your typical year up in the Arctic Circle. We've obviously just covered winter, but the summer comes round, and how does it work up there? Is it inundated with bugs and insects, or is it a fairly nice place to be?
The biggest thing with summer is that the day summer comes, you start to winter again.
Right. Okay.
No, the summer here is actually a really, really lovely time of the year, especially the beginning of the summer and the end of the summer, when everything is changing. And the mosquitoes, it's a hard question to answer, like in general, because it's so different from place to place and from year to year.
Okay.
Where I living, it's quite okay conditions, but if you're living a little bit more south or a little bit more to the closer to the coast, or you're living close to a river, for example, that gets flooded every year when the snow is melting, then it can be a huge thing with the mosquitoes. It can be plenty of them some years.
Yeah, that's
And
it's kind of like over on the east coast of Scotland. It's everybody's like, oh, you must be inundated with midges and things and mosquitoes. It's like, well, it's not too bad, but then you'll
yeah.
get a really damp, warm day, and all of a sudden it's horrendous. But just one of those things. So your summertime, is that a bit of a downtime from having to take lots of people out guiding, or is that still just as busy, or is that the time of year that you have the ability to make new hides and find new trails and get yourself sorted out for the winter season again?
Yeah, summer is low season for me, and the reason I think is because I mean I have people here from more or less the whole world. I have people here from India, from Dubai, from Tahiti. I have also people from US. A lot of people coming here. Uh, Most of the most or most of the guests, they are coming from Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, UK.
Okay.
Uh, and if you're coming from some part of Europe, like Central Europe, if you're coming here in January or if you're coming here in the summer, the difference between what you have at home and what you're coming to, that difference is so much bigger in wintertime.
Of course.
I mean,
Yes.
it's like coming to another planet. But if you're coming here during summertime, of course, it's a different kind of landscape, but it's still everything is green, the lake is blue, the sky is blue, and sun is shining. So it's a little bit the contrast between what you have and what you got is smaller in summertime.
Yeah. Whereas you go for
Uh,
that winter extreme, it's
yeah,
completely different.
yeah, and then it's also, of course, more easy to move around by yourself in the area during summertime. So people don't have the same need to have a guide with them. Of course, photographers prefer to have a guide for get faster access to waterfalls, lovely places. They don't need to search by themselves for days or weeks. They can make a shortcut and they can find stuff during uh, how to say
A sort of an
uh,
adventure, a day out
yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But for answer your question, so yes, summertime is low season for me. So I used to have June, July, beginning August. Then I have some guided tours booked, but there is not so many during summertime.
Right. So
Then
it's it.
in
Yeah.
in autumn, when we start to get the darkness back, so you can see the aurora, then it's start to be rush again. Because a lot of people want to come here and take photos of the aurora before you get ice on the lakes, because they want to have the reflection in the water.
Okay, yeah, because your aurora photos are absolutely stunning. Obviously it's the skill of the photographer, it's the equipment you use, but you also show, I think you've got where you can see almost the movement and the shimmering of the aurora. So yeah, again, anybody that's out there that wants to see the best aurora photos, they're the ones to look at. See what Magnus is producing, because when I have a go, I end up with like, yeah, a bit of a greeny red blur, but that's about it. Whereas I look at yours, it's like that's phenomenal.
Thank you. I'm really glad to hear that.
But no, so because you have so obviously people come up there pretty much, they'd come up pretty much all year round. But I suppose the winter, the having the guide just gives them that piece of safety, especially out in the snow, because it's a pretty desolate wilderness, isn't it? When there's snow
Yeah,
on the ground and it's accessed via a
yeah,
snow machine.
yeah. And I mean, in summertime, the worst thing that can happen is that it starts raining. But in
Yes.
I mean, in wintertime, it can get totally white out, so you don't know, you have no idea where you are. You cannot find the way back. So people don't want to come here and like go out in the wilderness by themselves. It's too big risk. And
I was going to
and
say the temperature extremes for you in the
yeah,
winter.
it,
I
it,
think
it, it can be also like minus 30, minus 40 degrees sometimes, and it's hard to predict what the temperature going to be because it's changing all the time, up and down. So winter time, it's you really need a guide to go out in the areas if you haven't experienced something like that before.
absolutely. So that you've just led on to a really nice topic there. Now, in some of the photos that you've posted, we see you obviously out in these extreme temperature conditions, and you It's probably one of the questions that people bring up, because as soon as you mention the words fur and using animal products and all the rest of it, a lot of people are like, oh, you can't do that. But I think you've got
Yeah,
a fur hat and fur gloves, and
yeah,
without them, life would virtually be impossible in those conditions.
yeah, yeah.
Can you
It's
tell us about those?
yeah, but when it is that cold, there is so much about the clothes. There is also very important about nutrition, like what you are used to eat, and there is a lot of things that have big impact in how you're going to be able to handle that cold.
Yeah.
And when it coming to clothes, for example, I have my gloves. They are made of moose and fox, and I have honestly get a lot of like bad like comments, and people like contact me on Instagram that, hey, you are a bad person on planet Earth, you shouldn't have gloves made from animals and so on. But what people don't know that is that there is no one that have go out to the forest for kill a moose or kill a fox for making those gloves.
Yes.
Because when it's, for example, moose hunting, that is the biggest kind of hunting here. It's the time of the year, the weeks during the autumn, when the locals are out hunting moose. And when you get a moose, you're filling your fridge at home, so you have meat for like the whole year until it's time to hunt again next time. So we haven't get meat from big farms where animals have terrible conditions. We haven't transported around the planet Earth 3 times. We have go out in the forest. We have taken moose that have breathing the same air as ourselves, bring it to home and make sure that we have food on the table for like 1 year.
Yep.
And then the skin is a leftover product. So instead of just throwing it away, we try to use that also. We try to use everything you can from that animal. So when you see it that way, if you feel that it's bad killing an animal, but you must do it for get food on the table, then it's of course better to try to use everything from that animal. Don't just throw away something from it.
Well, what you've just said there is absolutely fantastic. It's the whole, you've used everything. And actually, probably that's how man has survived, or the human race has survived until
Yeah,
now, is that we did use everything from the animal, and the furs and the hides and the bones. It,
yeah,
it, it was all part of the process to keep you alive, especially in the conditions that you live in. From the summer is lovely and warm to the winter is -30, you kind of need something to keep you warm. And if a moose can survive in it, if you're wearing some moose skin, and yeah, it gives you that advantage, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah,
And so it because it's really interesting to see that you have it's not a synthetic product as well. It is a natural product that you're using, because obviously, yeah, you could buy synthetic gloves, but a lot of people have said to me that they just don't seem to have the same ability to insulate in those temperature conditions.
yeah. No, they are not even close to same to give you the same heat.
Right, right. So yeah, so again, it's not cruel. It's basically, if you want to survive in these conditions and do the stuff that you're doing, it's kind of a necessary thing to have.
Yeah,
Fantastic. Well, but that's really interesting, and it hopefully it will help the non-hunters that listen to this understand that actually, yeah, it goes to show it's a process that is used wherever, and it's every part of the, there's no wastage. And
yeah,
as you, exactly as you said, that animal isn't traveling halfway around the world to get to your dinner plate.
yeah. And I think also it's in the world we are living in today, where there is sadly quite much hate about things, and eating meat, killing animals is one of those things. And I used to get some negative feedback on social media about it. So I really used to think that people should really like take a break for some second, try to zoom out, try to see the whole picture before you're sending some negative feedback to someone, because it's not black or white. There is always some kind of there is always a bigger aspect, a bigger view.
Yeah. Yes. So
I mean,
that's just diving into that, because you just touched on something there about social media. As a photographer, do you get problems with people giving you grief for what you're doing, or is it because they've looked in and they've seen that you've got the fur gloves on or the fur hat? Is that where you get your hatred from?
but I think in general there is always, no matter if you are a photographer or what you are, in all categories, there is always people that, I don't know, they have a little bit too less to do and a little bit too much hate inside them or somehow they need to get it out. I mean, yeah, there was one example. I had we have a Swedish master in photography,
Right.
like a huge competition, and I was the judge, a part of the judge there last year. So in the morning, I make an Instagram story that I need to give food to the birds before I go into this competition. And then there was some people write that, hey, you shouldn't feed the birds. It's not ethical, okay, to feeding birds. Okay, I can understand that in somehow. And then I make an Instagram story that I was on the way to the airport for go to the competition. Then it was like, hey, you are a big photographer. You shouldn't support competitions that need you to travel to there. Why don't they do that online? And okay, there is also a point in that. I mean, there is I can always understand, but still, it's not that easy. And then when I came to the airport, I did fly from north of Sweden to middle of Sweden to Stockholm. Then in the airport in Stockholm, they were in a shop. They were selling, like a small market. They were selling bottles with water. And that water is coming from my home, because we have a company here that's producing water. So I took a
Right.
picture of that and say that it's quite lovely to come to the airport in the middle of Sweden and you can drink your water from home. And so I just took a picture of the bottle. Then it was someone that wrote me that, hey, you shouldn't support drinking water from bottles. And it's like, what? It doesn't matter what you what even I do doing. There is always someone that can figure out something.
It's really interesting that, actually, because I know from the hunting community we obviously we're sort of the front for being attacked by the world of the anti and all the rest of it. But it's really interesting to hear that somebody that takes beautiful photographs and shares their life with the world gets the same sort of issues, that it might not be directed at you've killed something, but actually you're still getting somebody coming on and telling you you're doing something wrong and you're supporting this and supporting that. It's just like, as you say, it's people who obviously they must be very bored in their life and have far too much free time if they can spend all day thinking of things to send you messages about.
And at the same time, many times I can get the point what they are trying to say, but if you have an opinion about something and you feel that this is wrong, you want the whole world to change in one direction, we can never be able to do it by hating each other.
No.
We need to educate each other. We need to teach each other. We need to share different kind of ideas with each other and so on. But just standing in each corner and call each other for idiots, we're never going to be able to move forward like that. So if those people that for some reason feel that, hey, this photographer here, he do something wrong, I'm very open to hear about it, but don't just throw out some kind of hate. I mean, we need to be able to speak to each other in a different way. We are not team A, team B, team C, and then we're going to hate each other. We need to to see it in a little bit
I think
bigger way than that.
I think that's where social media has had it has a massive advantage, and it has wonderful things, but it also has a real negative line that runs through it. And I think that do you get, well, you obviously you've talked about that, but do you get any jealousy from other photographers about your the life you lead and where you live, because obviously they might not have the same access. Do you find any of that comes through on social media?
No, actually, I don't think even once I have get something
That's really
like
good.
that. Yeah, it's more like photographers more like supporting each other, like in that way.
That's good, because
Then of course
yeah.
people sometimes, are posting some stories with a lovely, then someone can say me that, hey, I don't know if I going to love you or hate you or unfollow you or what I should done, but I mean then it's in another way, it's with a funny touch on it.
Yes, of course, absolutely. Because obviously, yeah, you're now. I think you've been you were over in London not that long ago. With I think you're a big fan of Sony products, aren't you? So you're over.
Yeah, it was Sony World Photography Awards.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And is that something that you're sort of you've won awards for the work you do now, or are you sort of moving in that circle of people?
I have actually never sent some of my picture to some kind of competition because it's hard to explain, but I mean it's some one kind of creative process that you're going through. And for me, when I had take a photo and I feel that wow, this is the best photo I ever have take. When I coming home, I want to edit it immediately.
Right.
It doesn't matter if I feel that I might maybe need to go to pee. I do it later. I need to edit now because you are like in the creative flow. And when you have edited a photo, you want to show it on social media to the whole world like immediately. And
Yeah, no, absolutely.
yeah,
And
uh,
it's so nice to open my feed and there to be a picture. Oh, Magnus has been out again and has got a photo of this or that, and it's just like,
yeah.
yeah, wow, it's a piece of something different.
And then when I have post a photo, then it's like, okay, now I'm done with this. Now I start to think about what photo to take next. So
Fantastic.
that make it a little bit hard for me to feel that I want to send the photo to a competition, because the photo that in that case I would like to send, that photo is not taken yet, because you always want to take something better, something better. But the Sony Photography Awards, it's more because I do a lot of cooperations with Sony. We have a really good like relation. So I do a lot of work for them, and we do some kind of like yearly cooperations also. So I'm a more or less a part of the Sony team. I'm not a Sony ambassador, but I'm a part of their team.
Oh, fantastic. So bringing sort of wrapping this to the sort of the close now. What does the 2025 winter season, 2026 winter season have in store for you? Is there any massive plans? Is there anything new coming up?
Uh, More or like or more it's more like the same as it have
Okay.
always been. I mean, I running my guided photo tours, uh, but one new thing that coming that I have started already now, that I also going to start to do educations like for people that want to learn more about taking photography.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those photo tours that I'm doing, all of them is private and all of them is customized, depending on what goals and wishes the photographers that coming here having.
Yes.
Some people only want to photograph ice, frozen waterfalls, things like that. Some people want to photograph all the white animals, mountain hare, rock ptarmigan, and so on. Some people only want to photograph aurora. So, I mean, everybody have different wishes and different goals. So I make specific packages for them when they are coming.
Okay.
Uh, and then I also going to start to offer like education packages
Oh, fantastic.
where I have a red line what I going to teach about. But because it's not for big groups, it's for smaller group. It's like I used to call it private, but that means that it can be one person, but it can also be 5 person if there is like 5 friends that contact. I'm not going to mix people from different
Yeah.
that don't know each other. And if they feel that they want to learn more about one specific topic, okay, then I make one education just on that topic.
That sounds really
Yeah,
good, and I think that will
yeah.
be really popular. I think there seems to be a very much a thirst for knowledge, and lots of people they used to use the internet and YouTube to do it, but I think people actually are now going back to the personal touch. They actually want to learn from somebody. I've seen to
Yeah.
have found it. I get
Yeah.
more people wanting to actually come and spend time and learn the hands-on part of it rather than just watching a YouTube video or
Yeah.
something like that.
And here I also have some good opportunities. I mean, we can sitting in the cabin half of the day and have like theory lesson, learning things in theory, having a lunch, and then we can immediately after that going out, for example, to the hide that is like 100 meters away from here, and we can try to implement what we have learned by shooting squirrels, birds, those easy kind of animals.
Yeah.
And then during the stay, we also make one day up to the national park for do like a real full adventure outdoor, and then we can also like learning on site or out in the field or how to say.
No, I think you're, yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, my plan is at some point is to actually come up and see you because it's it's just that wilderness, and it again, it's more about just the experience and actually seeing it. It's just, yeah, it just looks absolutely outstanding. I will make sure that there are links that people can find your socials and find your website. So if anybody is interested, they can definitely get that information to come and find you, and yeah, just keep following along with what you do, really.
Yeah.
So I think we've covered quite a lot there. So I think we'll draw it to a close. So thank you ever so much for spending the time this morning having a chat with me.
Yeah, and thank you for letting me coming here. And I mean, I speaking about something that I'm so passionate about, so I could easily do this hour to 3-4 hours. So if you get good feedback, and if there is someone that is interested in listening to this, so I mean, we can gladly make a part 2, part 3, or whatever.
100%. We can tailor. We could even work out some hot topics that people want to know more about, and bring them part 2, part 3. But I think for an overview as to what you do and how technology is helping you and things like that, I think we've touched quite a lot this morning already.
Yeah.
Superb. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. It was certainly really fun chatting with Magnus. I have a lot of time to enjoy having conversations with him. I know when I catch up in Lithuania, it's always great asking him questions of what he's up to, and just following him on social media, whether he's out on a canoe, sailing round in the midnight sun that they get up there in the early season, or in the depths of the snow, absolutely freezing in sort of minus whatever temperatures. I think he was talking about minus 27 or something like that, sitting in a shed trying to get a picture of a fox. The guy's a machine. He just keeps going. So as I say, go follow him on social media and have a look at what he does. The photos are absolutely stunning, and what the work that he has to put into get them is totally amazing. And his use of modern technology and thermals and stuff like that really does make it worthwhile having a look. So my last note before I leave is, if there's any of that merch you want, please get in touch and we'll get something sorted for you, and we'll catch you on the next one.